Today on the workbench, I've got a new project here. This is a proto2000, and it is SW1200. So what we're going to do to this one, and this is brand new, and it's DC, no pins, no nothing here, so we're going to have to start from scratch here. Get this shell out of the way. Of course, they already come with everything applied to them, handrails and everything. But what we're going to do to this is, I'm going to install, and I've had these for a while, I just have never used them. This is a WVD Next18 adapter board for the Next18 decoder. And I've got a couple of Soundtraxx decoders coming in that'll fit right on this. So we're going to put this in. I've got a Scale Sound Systems speaker. We'll remove that front weight there. Excuse me. And then I'm going to try and squeeze in this TCS KA1 KeepAlive, since these are such a short wheelbase locomotive. I figured it would need that. Well, I know it'll need it because I've got a few other switchers that have KeepAlives, and they do need KeepAlives. So, of course, you know, out of the box, this already comes with the shell off of it. But I am going to remove these coupler boxes with these old, oh, forget what those couplers are called. But, yeah, I get rid of them. I'll put in new KD couplers. I'll take this front one off. Just keep everything there together. And I haven't seen a lot of videos on these boards. There are some, but they're an interesting thing here. Like I say, we'll get this hooked in. They're made for N-scale locomotives, but I'm going to try it in this because I've got another switcher over there that I'd like to try out with one of them. But we'll go ahead and I'll pull the screws out of this front weight. And then, okay, so that clips in. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the wires here. That way I don't have to fool around with that. Our motor wire, and this thing is tangled in through here. These are track pickup wires. So there's that one. There we go. That out of the way. Motor wires. And track pickup that I need to cut. Okay, so we can get rid of that. Lay that over in the pile. And I got a couple more screws here where that weight is. Pull that out. Get that speaker out. Clean this off a little bit. Get some of that grease out of there. That'll sit right up there like that. And that is the same thickness as the weight. So maybe what I can do there, just to retain some of the weight. I mean, it wouldn't be a lot, but I can put the speaker on one end and cut the weight down. And that would let me keep some of it. I'll think about that for a while. I may do that. Put the lid back on the alcohol there. I mean, it's fairly hefty. But weight is a good thing. Of course, now saying that, yeah, I can't put that KeepAlive in there like that. And I will end up taking those incandescent bulbs out, and we'll put LEDs in this. So I may end up having to take the interior out to put the KeepAlive in. That's what I've done in some of these other switchers that I have, because they are fairly tight. But anyway, let's move on. So this board, we've got our forward, and then of course our reverse lights. There is a place for our KeepAlive over here, and that's really all we'll need other than the speakers. So we've got our speakers back here on this corner, and our track pickups aren't on the top of this. The track pickups are the length of the board itself. So let's see, how do I want to situate that? That'll probably set just like that. So I am going to have to, if I want to do that, now there's room to slide that weight in and out of there in case I want to add that extra bit of weight back, which I think will be a good idea. So I am going to cut that down. Mark that. Alright. I'm going to go cut that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so there we're back. We've cut the weight off. We can go ahead and put that back in. And I should have ran them up there, but I want to check the... Okay, got plenty of room for my speaker there. We saved some of the weight. Pull that back off and run the wires up through. Yep, there we go. Get it in the right place. I'll go ahead and fasten that speaker. I can fasten it right to that weight. So we'll get our alcohol back out. Clean that off. Clean that off. Get out the tape. Put that right across there. Okay, there's our speaker mounted in there. That won't go anyplace. Now this motor is already isolated from the frame, so I don't have to worry about that. And it does run pretty well on DC. So now what I want to do is I'm going to connect my two track pickups together And so the reason I'm going to do that, there was an article, I believe it's the February 23 issue of Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine, and I think it's in the running extra section, but it talks about short circuits, and there's been several articles, but they have two methods in there about, you know, losing decoders to short circuits. So one of the remedies to eliminate them is to give the short a path, the path of least resistance. So if I tie these together, that basically gives the electric a path to go from truck to truck and hopefully skip the board on both sides. So I'm going to try that on this one. I have had a few locomotives, especially when I take them to the club. I've got one steamer in particular that, I mean, I've burnt 3 or 4 decoders on it because of shorts. I've got a TVS mounted in it, transient voltage sensor. I've replaced the decoder several times, and I need to do this to that locomotive. So I'm going to tie these together, and then we can put our board on this. We'll mount that right on top of the motor, and I'll probably end up cutting these little nubs off. So anyway, let's get to that. We'll see what happens. Turn the soldering iron on. I wonder. Trying to keep this as short as I can. I'm glad I didn't cut that one. All right. Get a couple of pieces of heat shrink here. Okay. And you'll see this here better in a minute. there's one. So this is my other track pickup. We'll put a piece of heat shrink down in there. And that old wire has a very distinct smell to it. Okay, now we're ready to hook this up to the board. After I get this fluxed and tinned. There's that. Let me get this out of the way here now so I can now so I'm going to set that board right there. So we'll go ahead and flux and tin the board up. That was easy. Let me turn that around. So there's one side. Just cleaned off. And then since this one's going this way, I'll turn that back around. And I'll connect it right down here. It is easy to solder to, I will say that. So I've got the track pickups hooked up. Now I can flip that board over. And I want to take and get my alcohol out and clean the top of the motor off. And the bottom of the board. Get that dried off. Now we'll get our tape out again. Okay, so now we've got our board mounted. And under there, that there. There's that. So now we've got our motor pickups right here on the corners. Makes it nice and easy to get to. So I can cut that off there. off there. Get our wires stripped, and then get everything fluxed here. This thing's pretty much ready to go. Yeah. Boy, every once in a while, just run into something that wants to be extra difficult. And really, this side, I could take that side and shorten it up some, but I think that'll be fine. Okay, we might as well wire this speaker up, and that way this part will be done. All we'll have to do is our lights next, and we'll have this completed. But anyway, we'll hook up this speaker. I've got this is ESU wire, 36 gauge wire, so I really like it. So I'll go ahead and strip both ends. And of course the speaker right back here on this decoder board. Go ahead and let me turn this around for a second. Some flux on this and tin it. Clean that tip off. There's that one. We'll go and fasten it to this side of the speaker. There's that. Now I've got to get flux and tin that this side. Now we'll turn this back around and so we'll get the flux on it, and we can tin that. And I'm going to run it underneath that. Behind that. Now I need to tin both of these. So there's one. Okay. I'm going to have to use my magnifier on this one, so I'll be back here in a second. I'll show you. All right, so we've got our speaker hooked up. That goes back here in this corner. We've got the motor hooked up. Of course, the track pickups are hooked up. This thing is ready to be, it's ready to be tested. Of course, I say that, I'm waiting on the decoder to come in. So let's go ahead and see how we're doing here for fit. Yep. I think, well, it'll be all right once I take this bulb out. Here, let's do this. So I need to pull this incandescent bulb out. And the associated wiring. So they had it. I'm not sure what kind of glue that is, or if you can see that, but that stuff is like silly putty. So anyway, there, I've got that. Okay. So everything fits really well. The next thing I need to do is, we'll put that aside because, like I said, I'm waiting on the board. So I've got the KeepAlive to put in, and so I've got the KeepAlive, and I've got the lights to do. So I think we'll start on the lights, but I'm going to take a break first. So sometimes it seems like the hardest part of these installs is just getting things apart. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to take this frame off, bottom frame, try to anyway. And that way, so part of that's glued, part of it's not. Because I want to take that cab off, so we'll pull the railings off of that cab. And that seems like it's glued in there. So I'm going to do this off camera. No need for you to sit and watch me fight this thing. Okay, so that was glued in a couple of places, you can see there. But I got it off, didn't break anything, which that's a good thing. Did have to pull a couple railings off there. I thought I was going to have to pull them off of the cab, but I didn't have to. So I'll put that back together here in a minute. But what I need to do is get this wiring out of here. So I do need to pull this cab. And the way these usually are, you can see there's a little nipple right here that goes into the, this one looks like it goes into the windows, but let's see here. So I think I got that one loose. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So we've got the cab off. Now, okay, so there's that. These lights run up a little channel. Pull the windows out. So like I say, sometimes the lighting is the hardest part of the job. Alright, there we go. Finally. So we can pull that light out. Now, trying to figure out how my KeepAlive can go. I'll probably take these figures out because you can just barely see them anyway, but I don't know. I do have some TCS KA2s coming, and that might fit better. So that goes there. Let me get this. So I'll zoom out. So we'll have that sitting there. That'll sit there. We'll have to put that wiring up. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is get this KeepAlive in here. Yeah, I may have to wait on that KA2. Okay, we've kind of switched gears here. I may wait for that KA2 to come in. We can work on that a little bit later. But what I want to do now is put the LED in this cab. So, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one small 402 LED and I am going to glue it right to that lens. That's the plan. So I think yeah, I should be able to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I've got some Loctite super glue, and this is like an activator. I need to twist this up. That way I won't have to fight these I won't have to fight these wires quite as bad when I twist them. So there I've got that. And I'll do the same to the front. But now I just want to take a drop of that glue and we'll let that dry. If I can keep it on there. And I know you can't see that at all. Okay, so after a couple of struggles there, like I say, sometimes the lights are the hardest part. And this one, well, it kind of was the hardest part. Anyway, so I've got the LED in the front here. So what I'm going to do now, after I get this, whatever, to keep the light from bleeding through, I'm just going to take some black paint and put it on there. Let that dry. And then I'll do the same here on the cab. And that will keep our light from bleeding through. So that's that. Alright, I'll be back here in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. I got my decoder in the mail today. So this is the decoder that I'm using, the TSU-N18. So, actually, that's a bald one. I got another one too. So I may just showed you the wrong one. And I've got an EMD one here too. So I pulled out the wrong one, I believe. Either way. So I've got the right decoder. I'll go ahead and just put that away. And get out the correct one. Yeah, this is the EMD version here. So, all right. So the EMD version of that decoder. Anyway, so my lights are all set up they're good to go. And then I've got the front one there. It's good to go. So now I just need to start assembling the cab back together. Of course, I guess one thing I can do, I can try this out and make sure that we've got it going the right way. So that's the way that goes on. And I'm looking. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try this out and I'll be back. Alright, so it does work. The direction's correct. No shorts. Now all we got to do is hook up our front lights. Of course, start assembling the cab. So we'll put that back together. And the way this goes, I'm pretty sure, was so we'll put our glass back in. And then I'm going to reuse that piece. I may do this off camera just to speed this up a little bit. So I'll get this all back together and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've put the glass back in the cab. The thing I'm working on now is I've got the KA2 and I'm going to put it in the cab here. It's not the ideal setup, but it does work because, I mean, you can see it a little bit, but not much. So let me get some double-sided tape put on this, and then I'll show you what I've got here. And I will end up, I'll paint this. I'll paint it black. Once I get it stuck in here. Yep. Come off of there. So what I've done with this, I've put a hole in through that. That way I can stick my wires through. and that'll just sit there right on top. And I'll get out my black. And I am going to take and clean that off with some alcohol. I don't know if that'll help it or not, but can't hurt it. So I'm just using a micro brush. Put this paint on. I'm going to put it on kind of thick. And then I'll have to let this dry. Now we'll get the back of it's really what'll be seen through the windows. But like I say, I'm not worried about it. It's not, you really have to be looking at it. Okay. Get this cough I can't get rid of. But anyway, so there's our KeepAlive. Our lights are in. I've just got to wait for the paint to dry, and then I can put this back together. So let me move that. I'm going to test this again just to make sure. Okay. So that light still works. So we'll let that dry, let everything dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I've got the cab back on, got the lights in. Now we just need to bring that over and we can start making our final connections. So we've got our front headlight. We'll go ahead and pull pull that board off. And I'll cut these wires down some, because they don't need to be all that long. Better turn my soldering iron back on. And these do have, the board has resistors in it, so I don't have to worry about the resistors. So now we're just down to a couple of easy connections here. Of course, I say that and watch there be some major malfunction here in a minute. That cleaned off. We'll put a little dab of flux on that. I do want to kind of trim those up a little bit. That's good. There's our positive. There's the function side. Might as well hook this ground or current keeper up here. So we can trim those off. And I'll be using that one and that one. So there's that. Get our ground hooked up. And then our positive side. And I probably need to look at that through the magnifier. I need to pull it to me a little bit. I think it's fine, but there we go. Now we just got the rear light to hook up. I'm going to cut those off about there. Wire strippers. Well, for some reason, there we go. One more. To flux 10. So this is the function side. So there we go. So all of our lights hooked up. We'll put the decoder back on. I'll button this thing up and then we'll be back. Alright, we're back here. We've got our switcher up on the turntable. We've got it complete. The one thing I did want to mention before I go any farther is, you know, this WVD board, you could see on the bottom of it is where the track pickups are and where I soldered the wires to it. They run the length of that board. Now it is above the motor, it's not touching anything, but just to be safe I went ahead and put some it's a conformal coating, that way it covers it and you know we can't get any shorts out of it. So I just wanted to bring that up because I'm sure somebody will see that and say something about it. But yeah, there is conformal coating on the bottom of that. And I didn't get a shot of that. I don't know why I didn't. But anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to turn that headlight on. So that came out really well. We'll go ahead and run this through its startup.
That exceeds 25 mile per hour between milepost 55.75 and milepost 56.008.
And you can hear that it's got the cab chatter on that decoder. So this is the horn that I've chosen for this. And then the bell. We'll go ahead and go through. We'll ramp this up a little bit. I do have the volume turned down on it. Okay, we're at notch 8 there. So we'll go ahead and start ramping that back down. So there we're back to idle right there. But yeah, this turned out really well. I think it does run really good. I'll take and move it forward here just a little bit. So there's speed step 1. And I don't have any momentum built into this right now. I believe these Next18 decoders, the Soundtraxx version, is good for 0.75 amps continuous. So right now, the way it sits, even when it was moving there, I'm reading 0.04 amps. So you won't have to worry about that decoder and the size of it with this locomotive. So anyway, we've got this one finished up, and we'll move on to the next one. Thanks for watching.